members of College of Veterinary Science, Jalukie, Nagaland. This 10 days international training cum workshop is being organized on online platform, bringing together the experts and participants to share knowledge and information in veterinary science and livestock practices. So I heartily welcome you, all of you. So moving forward for the technical session, first for our day 6. So I would like to introduce our first speaker, Dr. Raja Kishore Konga. Sir has earned his graduation in BSc Veterinary Science and Animal Husbandry in 2005 from College of Veterinary Science, Acharya N.G. Ranga, Agriculture University, Tirupati. He did his master's in 2007 and PhD in 2012 in animal nutrition from College of Veterinary Science, Sri Venkateswara University, Tirupati. He started his career as a scientist at Buffalo Research Station, Andhra Pradesh in 2008 and presently working as associate professor and head Department of Animal Nutrition, College of Veterinary Science. He has more than 70 years of experience in teaching, research, and extension activities. He is widely actively involved and contributed in many research projects, and he has significantly contributed toward the animal nutrition, specialized in formulation and evaluation of total mix ratio, utilizing locally available crop residues and agro-industrial byproducts for economically feeding ruminants. He is involved in training of farmer women, rural youth, and skill development during the tenure as a senior scientist and head of KVK Guntur. He has received National Purania Gold Medal for highest marks in masters and in animal nutrition at a university level. He is guiding more than 12 students at PG level and 65 students for their research articles, and Sir has published many research papers in reputed national and international journals. So I would like to invite Sir to please deliver his lecture for technical session 1.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Nisha, for a nice introduction. Myself, Dr. Raj Kishore, and now I'm going to present my lecture on the strategic fodder resource management for sustainable livestock production. Is my screen visible?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, full screen. Okay.
Sir, I would like to request for slideshow mode.
Yeah. Is the screen shared or not?
Right now, sir, it's not showing. You can stop sharing and reshare the screen. Previously, it was showing.
Yes. 1 second, I'll do.
Yes, sir. Now it's visible.
Yeah, is it okay? Yeah, right. Yeah, respected organizers, dear participants, a very good evening to one and all. Now I'm going to present my lecture on the strategic fodder resource management for sustainable livestock production during this 10 days international conference and workshop online mode. And I'll try to present this lecture as per the subheadings outlined in this presentation. And I'll try to fit myself to the time allotted to me. And at the very beginning, I would like to make some key points regarding the population statistics across the world and as well as in our country, India. And if you see, as per the statistics of the human population in November 22, by November 22, across the world, almost it crossed 8 billion. And it was projected that it is going to cross 8.3 billion by early 2026. And
I think the slide is not showing to us.
No.
No, sir. You are requested to push stop sharing and reshare. Previously, it was again showing.
1 second. I'll try to do it again.
Oh, okay, sir. Sorry for the interruption.
Yeah. Yeah, is it shared?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So is it now in full screen?
Sir, I think no, not on full screen. I think when you are trying on full screen, it is skipping. It's not right showing right now.
It is not showing right now.
No, 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 sir.
Now also?
No, sir. So you can stop sharing and reshare the screen so that it will be
Yes.
visible.
Yes, 1 second.
I think there will be some technical issue. There are some technical issues, so participants are requested to please wait only for 5 minutes. So we are trying to resolve all the technical. Okay, sir, I'll see the technical point. So I'll allow you if it is possible at my end. Otherwise, I will request to Dr. Jitin sir so that he can do the same. Dhaniyad. Okay, sir. We are trying. We are trying at our level. Sir, please wait only for 2 minutes. So we are trying to resolve at our own level.
Is the screen visible?
Now the slide is visible to us, sir. You can start your lecture.
Yeah, is it visible?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, but when I'm trying to make it full screen, it is not coming.
No, no issue, sir. You can increase the zoom size.
Now,
That is okay now.
has it come
Now it's
now?
okay. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Is it in full screen only, no?
Yes, sir. Full screen.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Okay, let's move on.
Yeah, sorry for the interruption. Uh, so, as per the statistics of the human population in 2026, so the China is leading. But if you could able to see the slide over here, by 2050, so India is going to be ranking as the first in the human population. And if you see that India is one of the fastest growing economy in the world, at 12th position it is going. And if you could able to understand the major pressure because of the increasing population, food is one of the most important force where we need to address this huge growing population. So it is considered to be the third most important thing for the sustenance of life after air and the water. And the important enterprise which will counter this meeting the food requirement is majorly the agriculture. But the agriculture as such it cannot do, but agri elite, wherein the livestock farming, it is going to contribute as a backbone for the Indian agriculture. And it is contributing around 7% of the total GDP, and even providing the employment to the marginal and the submarginal farmers. And if we see the farming system in our country, it is a mixed farming system between the crop production and the livestock rearing. And if you could be able to understand the share of the India at the international level or the world level, out of the total area, our country is occupying around 2.3% of the geographical area, but holding around 15% of the world livestock population, and 17% of the human population, and about 4.2% of the world's water resources. And if you see the livestock statistics as per the 2019, so India is holding around 57% of the world buffalo population, and around 12.5% of the world's cattle population. And if you see the species wise, so the cattle about almost 36% are there, and buffalo around 20%. But to maintain this huge livestock population, but India could able to contribute only 8.4 million hectares of the farmland or the farm area, wherein it is insufficient to meet the needs of the rising cattle population here. And if you could able to see this livestock importance, what is its role in the economy as well as the GDP of our country. So this agriculture and the elite sector, it is employing more than 50% of the total workforce of our country, and contributing around 18% of the total GDP. And the value of the output from the livestock sector is around 28% of the total value of the output from the agriculture sector. Almost one fourth of the agriculture output is being contributed from the livestock. That is the importance of the livestock over here. And one more thing here, what I want to make a note is, out of this agri and elite sectors, this poultry and the dairy, they are the fastest growing subsectors in the recent years when compared to the other sectors in the agriculture. And if you could see the positioning of the different products from the livestock, so we stand first in the milk production with around 240 million metric tons of the milk, and second position in the egg with around 142 billion eggs production, and fourth in the meat production with around 10.25 million metric tons of the meat production. So such a huge production is being contributed by the Indian livestock. And if you see the demand for the milk from 2011 to 2020, so it has almost been increased to a huge extent from 116 million tons to 168 million tons, and it is expected to increase by around to about 240 million tons in 26-27. So as per the Niti Aayog estimates, Even it was projected that it will be growing up to 330 million metric tons by 2034. The demand for the milk is very increasing at a steep level here, and it is also being contributed to about more than 8 lakh crore rupees. The milk enterprise, it is going to contribute at the global level more than 8 lakh crore rupees from the Indian subcontinent itself. So in order to maintain such a huge production, so we need to maintain the supply of the feed and the fodder to the animals, which should be enhanced both quantitatively and qualitatively, so that demand for the milk production can be maintained there. And the important thing here is the livestock feeding. So what are the different ways of the livestock feeding? So we try to say the feeding will be carried out in terms of the dry matter in the livestock, and the total dry matter required by the livestock is shared between the roughages and the concentrates. Two-thirds from the roughage and one-third from the concentrate. So again, in the two-third of the roughages, two-third from the dry fodder and one-third from the green roughages. This is what we'll call it as a thumb rule in the cattle feeding. And this showcases the importance of the roughages both in terms of the dry and the green fodder, how it has to be provided to the cattle or the livestock here. And one simple example for a animal weighing around 400 kg, if you could able to see in the table projected here, so almost 44% of the total dry matter is being met from the dry matter, and 22%. That means around 65 to 60% of the requirement of the feed for the livestock should be provided from the fodder only. So that is the importance of the fodder, what has to be taken care in order to make the livestock enterprise more economical. And we all know that this feed accounts more than 60% of the total cost of the livestock enterprise. So if you could able to make the best use of the fodder supply, the best quality fodder at the cheaper cost, the livestock enterprise will become more economical here. And this is the different types of the fodder what we have to make available for the livestock: dry fodder, green fodder, and the concentrate fodder. And if you see the scenario of the fodder availability in India, so as per the IGFRA Vision 2050 document, they are projecting that we are in deficit of around 30% of the green fodder, around 12% of the dry fodder, and 44% deficit of the concentrates. Now I am going to concentrate entirely on the fodder only. That means the green and the dry fodder here. And if you see the scenario of the feeding system of the livestock in our country, mostly they are based upon the grazing based livestock husbandry. And the area under the fodder cultivation is 9 million hectares, which is only around 4 to 5% of the total area under the cultivation in the country, which is very meager and insufficient for such a huge livestock population to meet the demand for the livestock products. And the permanent pastures or the other grazing lands is around 15 million hectares, which is also very negligible here. And the demand for this, the deficit of the green fodder, and the demand, how it is going to increase. At right now, it is around 600 million tons of the green fodder is available, and 430 million tons of the dry fodder is available. But the demand will go by around 1000 million metric tons and 630 million metric tons by 2050. And you could appreciate this estimates of the feed and fodder in India in the tonnage. And the deficit, it has been clearly projected in terms of the dry and the green fodder. And you can appreciate here from 2015 to 2025, so the deficit of the dry fodder is almost stable, whereas the green fodder, it started increasing. So the reason might be because of the urbanization and decreased cultivated fodders available in our country. So this projected the more importance of the cultivation of this green fodder here. And if you see the green fodder availability in India, dry and the green fodder availability in India. So from 2010 to the 2050, so the data was given in the IGFRA Vision 2050 document. So what it says here is, with the current rate of expansion in the forest supplies by the year 2050, so we are going to have a deficit of around 18.4 percentage in the green fodder. You could observe in the chart there, and the dry fodder around 13.2. So in the previous slide, what I am telling, it has been the deficit of the green fodder has been increased from 2015 to 2025. But if you could see, by 2050, the deficit is going to fall down. So this is because of certain advancement in the technology and the scientific advancement, wherein the improvement of the cultivated forests was brought. So in order to meet that deficit and decrease the short requirement of the green fodder, we are unable to increase the cultivated land, which is only around 4% of the total cultivable land available in our country. But the scientists have to make a note or the attention that the production per acre or per hectare of this green fodder has to be improved. And one more thing is the green forest supply, it should rise by around 1.69 percentage every year from 2025 or 2026 to 2050, so that the deficit of the green and the dry fodder can be reduced from 30 to 18% and 12 to around the dry fodder requirement will be like that only. It is almost going to maintain stable there. And if you see the zone wise distribution of the green fodder availability, so as per, if you could appreciate the chart what I have projected here, except in the north zone, all the other zones in our country, they are having a deficit in the green fodder. So in the northern zone, the green fodder availability is almost in more quantity, around 133 million tons of more than required is available in the northern zone. So it is mainly because of the maximum area is under the cultivation of the forages, followed by the rice and the wheat. That means the diversion of the cultivable land towards the fodder cultivation is more in the northern region, and also there the adoption of the technology and the forage crops productivity were also very high. This is one reason where, except the northern region, all the other regions, they were deficit in the green fodder production. And similarly, if we see the zone wise production of the dry fodder, so almost half of the zones they have got the deficit, and half of the zones they have got the dry fodder availability in excess there. So this was the projection made by the IGFRA Vision 2050 document there. And coming to the dry fodders, so they are basically the crop residues or the leftover portions after the crop is harvested. And almost the dry fodder means they'll be having around 85 to 90% of the dry matter, where the moisture will be reduced to less than 10 to 15%, so that we can inhibit the action of the plant and the microbial enzymes, so that they can be stored or preserved without undergoing the fermentation. And if you could able to see the important dry fodders available, so wheat straw, paddy straw, sorghum stover, maize stover, and the groundnut arms, and how they can be stored, and as well as what are their common uses. And mostly the groundnut arms, they can be used for the dairy cattle and the small ruminant feeding, and it is one of the important fodder which can serve as an excellent feed for the small ruminants. They are having more than around 9 to 10% of the crude protein content. And even the maize stover also, recently, if you could see in the southern India, if you could able to see in the southern India, so after the paddy, it is one of the important rabi crop what it is being grown, maize, and it is going to serve the fodder requirement mainly during the dry period, mainly during the summer season. Mainly during the summer season, these are going to play a very important role in meeting the fodder requirements for the cattle. And coming to the green fodder, and which is very important, and which has to be taken care for feeding of the livestock in order to sustain such a huge milk production. So we can say, what does a green fodder mean? So any crop which is green may be taken from a legume or grass or cereals or the tree based crops. Excuse me, is my voice audible?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, yeah.
Your
Thank
voice
you.
is clear
Yeah,
and
yeah,
sides are properly visible.
yeah. Thank you, thank you. So any fodder from these crops, they can be in the green form. They are called as the green fodder. And these green fodders, for example, the Napier varieties or the green Guinea varieties, they are cheaper, and they'll provide almost the critical nutrients like highly digestible protein, carbohydrates, fats, and the minerals. And the common cereal crops like this maize, sorghum, oats, they are rich in energy. So they are going to provide energy from these cereal crops. And the leguminous crops like the lucerne, berseem, cowpea, they are rich in the proteins. They are rich in proteins. These are the best fodder crops available in our country, like maize, sorghum, hybrid napier, guinea grass. So Desmanthus variegatus, that is the hedge lucerne. Subabul, it is a tree fodder. Cowpea, it is a leguminous fodder. So some of the fodder crops available in our country. And what are the importance of the feeding grain fodder? So they are rich in nutrients, particularly they are the important source of the vitamin A, and they are going to play a very important role in maintaining the immune status of the animal. And they are essential for the better vision because of the vitamin A availability, and they are cheaper in their production. So the cost of milk production can be reduced by decreasing the feeding of concentrates. The concentrate feeding is the costliest enterprise in the livestock feeding nowadays. And the green fodders, they are very palatable and they are easily digestible. And because of this provision of the essential nutrients required for the health of the animals, the milk, meat production as well as the reproduction can be taken care very easily if you could able to provide the green fodder as required by the animal. And just for information sake, I'm projecting this slide. So the country can be divided into four agroclimatic zones like north, western and central, southern and the eastern zones. And you could appreciate the different major crops available in the different zones of our country. And few of the more importantly grown fodder crops were projected in the map of our country here. And the fodder availability season wise, this is very important because the fodders are available season wise, season based upon the agroclimatic zones again. And three seasons were there. They are the kharif, rabi and the summer season. Summer season. And in the kharif season, these are the fodders which are available like cowpea, cluster bean, sorghum, maize, bajra. And in the rabi, the lucerne, berseem, that is rabi means it is the winter crops, majorly the cool season grasses. They are the lucerne, berseem, barley, oats likewise. And in the summer again, we'll be getting this maize, sorghum, bajra and the other beans. And these are some of the what we can say agronomic practices that has to be followed season wise again. The kharif season, the fodders, their sowing time, so harvesting time and the duration. And few are the perennial ones like your napier varieties and the guinea varieties. And uh, and the rabi season, so you can observe the different crops, their sowing times, and how many cuts we are going to get and the duration. And these are the key fodder crops in the summer season, that is from March to June, and their sowing times, harvesting time as well as the duration of the crops. So now coming to the core subject here, what are the different strategies for ensuring the year-round supply of the fodder? This is one of the obstacle which has to be taken care, particularly by the animal scientists, in order to meet the demand for the production in terms of milk, meat, or any other livestock product. Any other livestock product, both for the small and the large ruminants here. So one is cultivating the cultivated fodder resources. So farmers nowadays, what they are doing is they are most concentrated on the food crops. They are not devoting or diverting the land for the cultivation of the fodder crops. But if you could able to make them to divert some portion of the land for cultivation of the fodder crops like sorghum, napier, or the bajra varieties, so the fodder availability can be increased. So another aspect is if they are growing the same food crops, that might lead to the deterioration of the soil. The soil fertility will be coming down. So rotation of the food crops with the certain leguminous fodder crops, so this will promote the soil health, and it will also provide the year round supply of the green fodder. So the cropping system has to be adjusted in such a way that the rotational pattern, if you could able to maintain between the food crops and the fodder crops, so the fertility of the soil can be enhanced, and as well as the year-round production of the green fodder can also be produced there. And the fodder production under fruit orchards like the hortipasture or the silvipasture system. So, as it is mentioned that we have got only 4% of the land for the fodder cultivation out of the total cultivated area. So, we are unable to increase that 4% since many years. So, certain alternates have to be noted down, and they have to be propagated where this hortipasture and the silvipasture system they come into the existence. So, that is alternate land use systems. It is a great option here where we can increase the green fodder production. So, like the silvipasture here, trees, pastures, and the animal feeding, and the hortipasture where the fruit trees as well as the pasture and the multi-purpose trees they can also be included. So, if you could able to maintain these alternate land use systems, the green fodder production can be increased. And another aspect here is when the animals are sent out for grazing. We told that 50% of our animals in our country mostly they are grazing based system, grazing based husbandry is being maintained. So if you could able to make this agri hortisilvi pasture by using these multi-purpose trees during the sunny days also, the animals can go out for the grazing. And permanent pasture or the grazing lands, this is one of the important obstacle in our country where we are lacking these ones, that we doesn't have a dedicated grazing lands or the pasture lands for the livestock. So in this if you could able to make certain range lands which are unfit for the crop cultivation, so like the wastelands or the forest lands where they are not fit for the crop cultivation, there we can make use for production of the green fodders there. So there we can make a plan for development of the permanent pasture and the grazing land so that the fodder requirements for the cattle can be increased there. And certain non-competitive lands can also be used for the green fodder production. For example, the bunds in the fields, they'll be quite useful during the peak seasons. That means they doesn't come in the competition for the food or the cash crops for the farmers. And if you could make use of these bunds for the production of the green fodder, they can be also act as a natural fence to the crop which is inside, and they do not compete with the crops for the space and the nutrients, and they will save the fodder cost for the animals here. And the other important aspect is the crop residue quality enhancement. So it is already projected that though we are in deficit of the dry fodders, but the deficit is stable almost since last 20-25 years. So, but the crop residues they are poor in their quality. They are lesser in their digestible because of the presence of the silica and the other indigestible materials. So, if you could able to increase the quality by adopting certain treatments like the urea ammoniation treatment or treatment with the molasses, so the quality of the crop residue can be enhanced and they can be used as a fodder for the livestock. And the another aspect here is the alternative fodder resources. So they can also be used to supplement the supply of the fodder, and mostly these alternative fodder resources they can also play an important role during the times of the natural calamity and scarcity situations like famines or the drought. And if you see what are the different alternative fodder resources here, azolla is one important thing. And azolla cultivation, it is a water fern which can be used as a fodder plant. And if you see the nutritional value of the azolla, it is rich in the protein, essential amino acids, vitamins, minerals. It can be used as an excellent supplement as a supplement as the fodder here. And the azolla cultivation can be taken up in the farm ponds, wetlands, and even in the standing rice fallows also. Right, it can be act as a potential viable option as an alternative fodder resource. The other one is the hydroponic fodder cultivation. So that is cultivation of the fodder in the water culture. So here it is a landless or soil free fodder. So it uses the trays for sprouting the seeds in controlled conditions of the temperature, moisture, and the humidity. The sprouted seedlings, they can be used as a fresh green fodder for the animals here. So it is mostly preferable in the semi-arid, arid, and the drought-prone areas, and even in the peri-urban areas where the land is not there for cultivating the fodders. So this can be taken as an option, as an alternative option, where it will be like a boon to the landless livestock farmers for the production of the fodder. By adopting this hydroponic fodder production, so we can have a year-round production. So there is no problem or there is no issue of the soil here. And the fodder what we are getting is of high nutritional value. Space can be efficiently utilized. Water efficiency can be increased. It can be obtained faster within a period of around 7 to 9 days, and it is good for the livestock health also. And the other one is the fodder conservation technologies, which is a age old technique what the farmers are adapting. So earlier only the dry fodder is being preserved in the form of the hay or in the form of heaps, but now with the advancement of the technology, fodder technology, so even the green fodder is preserved in the form of the silage and the total mixed ration, TMR. It is also called as the complete feed. And if you see the different conservation technologies, preserving the hay in the form of the bales, in the form of the bales. So we know that these dry fodder, they are less denser in their nature, so they occupy more space. And one another important point is the availability of this dry fodder. They are being scattered across the different parts of the country. So the scenario is they are available in the place where they are in excess production, and in order to transport them from their places of excess production to the needy places, they'll be occupying more space because of their less bulky or they less dense in nature. So here if you could make them in the form of a bales or pressed, so they can be transported easily. And here we are going to reduce the moisture to less than 10 to 12%, and they can be stored without spoilage for a longer period of the time. And the other important aspect of the preservation technology is the silage. So preserving the green fodder for a more period of the time with a high moisture content of around 40 to 50 or 55 percentage of the moisture. So this silage is one best alternate, wherein many of the governments across the country now, the state wise, they are planning out many schemes in providing the or in supplying the silage to the farmers under the subsidy also. The another important thing is the feed blocks, that is the TMR. So here they are going to make the ration in a balanced form. The forage, concentrates, and the supplementary nutrients, all these are going to be mixed, and they are going to be formed in the form of a feed block there. And it is going to provide the complete ration what the animal requires for a period of the 24 hours. That is, it is called as a complete diet system or complete feed technology or the total mixed ration. So it can be in a mash form or it can be in a feed block form. So wherein this makes the preservation of the fodder for a pretty length of time, more than around 4 to 6 months, and the transportation also has become very easy because of their denser in their nature. And the other important thing, as we rightly pointed out during the initial slides of our presentation, so the land is fixed, that is around 4.5%, but the production of the green fodder has to be increased. So the thing is their production potential has to be increased. That means we should have a genotypes or the different cultivars where their potential of increasing their production per the square what square meter or the acre or the hectare should be increased. So if you see during the last 5 decades, almost about 250 forage crop varieties in different fodder crops of this berseem, lucerne, guinea varieties, and many other varieties have been released at the national level. So as the land area is fixed, only the productivity has to be increased. So this is one viable option wherein improved genotypes of the fodders have to be evolved sequentially so that the fodder deficit can be managed. And the nutrient management, this is in particular we should make a note that each variety has got its own specific nutrient management. Each variety of the fodder, they have got their own nutrient requirements, and specific nutrient requirements have to be supplemented so that we can achieve the proper productivity of those particular fodder there. So that means they have got their package of practices. We can say here the package of practices for each different type of the fodder. So it has to be clearly understood for the farmer so that they can enhance the production potential of the fodder there. And the irrigation facilities, this is one important aspect in the Indian context. Uh, the area under the fodder cultivation is around 6.95 million hectares, as we have noted. But the land under irrigation is only 1 million hectares. So this has to be addressed very keen because without irrigation, so the fodder cultivation is not viable. So if the fodder cultivation is dependent on the rainfall, it is going to be uh, create a loss to the farmer. So that here it is very clearly understood that the irrigation facilities has to be addressed in its fullest level to increase the productivity of the fodder crops. So the land and irrigation has to be increased. And multiple cuttings again, here if you see the different types of the fodders, so we should advocate the farmers to grow the fodders which are having a multiple cuttings of the multiple cultivars. That means in a single year we could able to get 3 to 4 cuttings or even more, so that so the maximum production of the green fodder can be maintained there. So these are some of the areas where we can address how we can increase the fodder green fodder production. So but coming to the different constraints, what hindering the adequate fodder availability in our country. So one point here is the increasing human and the livestock population. So human and the livestock population, they are increasing at a pace of 1.6 and 0.66 percentage per annum. It is going to create a huge pressure on the earth's natural resources. In the very first slide I have pointed out. So there is a intense, what we can say, the fighting between this human and the livestock. There is intense competition between the cash crops and even the fodders what we are growing for the livestock also. So this is one important constraint where the inadequacy of the fodder is seen in our country. And the next one is the resource constraints. That means the land and the water. Just now we have seen, so only 4% of the land is there for the fodder cultivation, and even the irrigated land is very meager. Around only 1% of the cultivable land has got the irrigation facilities, and the remaining entire is dependent on the rain. So the fodder crops need cultivable fertile lands, year-round irrigation supply, good dosage of fertilizers, and proper maintenance. So if you could able to provide all these resources, then the deficit of the fodder, which has been projected, can be addressed. And this is another thing, an important hindrance factor. Most of our livestock farmers are the small farmers, almost 22%, and the marginal farmers are almost 70% of the marginal farmers here. So their main role, or what we can say, their main goal is they are concentrating mostly on the food crops or the cash crops to meet their family requirements, and they are neglecting the fodder crops, and they are not regarding these fodder crops as a source of income. So this is one important aspect wherein we need to address the farmers regarding the importance of growing the fodder crops. And the other one is landless farmers are also there, which are working in the other laborers where they are maintaining one or two livestock. Even we need to address them also in terms of the green fodder availability. And the regional imbalance, this was also we have seen area wise distribution of the green and the dry fodder availability. They are not uniform across the country, and the pattern of fodder deficit is different in the different parts of the country. and we know that this can be contributed by the different geographical conditions, water availability, the soil fertility, weather conditions, and the other related factors. They are playing an important role in the fodder availability region wise, and the seasonal wise also, season variation. So we have to have the improved fodder varieties based upon the season. So the seasonal varieties have to be developed, and the fodder availability during the monsoons normally will be more because of the abundant rainfall, and the shortage which we are coming across during the summer. So this can be addressed by improving the irrigation facilities and the high transport cost. So this can be addressed to the dry fodder majorly because of the bulkiness, and for the green fodders they are perishable in nature. So that means these they cannot be transported easily. They cannot be transported easily. That's why the regional imbalance is there. At some places they are in more quantity availability is there, and in few areas they are in deficit. And the other important thing is non-availability of the quality seed to the farmers here. So this is one important major issue all over the world, especially in the developing countries. And the seed production aspect of the forage grasses and the legumes is almost neglected in India. So they are mostly not concentrating on providing the quality seed for the fodders, but the seed for the cash crops and the food crops they are concentrating more. This is one lacune where it can be addressed to the decreased fodder production. And another important aspect is lack of knowledge or the awareness among the livestock farmers. That means transfer of technology, poor transfer of technology. This is one thing. The package of practices for the different food crops are differed. So here the extension system of the country has to be strengthened here for the proper or the appropriate transfer of the technology, so that they can promote the what we can say the development of the fodder crops on par with the commercial crops. And another aspect here is the non-availability of the trained or the expert human resource in the fodder production. So mostly the human resource is being trained or being expertised in terms of the food crops only, but they are not being trained in terms of the feeds and the fodder. Even if they are being trained in the livestock production, they are mostly in terms of the health and the reproduction only. They are neglecting the feed and fodder production aspects. So as a result, the extension agents as well as the farmers lack the knowledge on the package of practices related to the fodder crops majorly. And another important aspect is the climate change, so which is universal. And livestock, it is contributing to the climate change in the form of GHGs, the greenhouse gases, through enteric fermentation and other aspects. In turn, the climate is also affecting the animals. So the animals are being suffered from the heat stress and the changes in the quality and the quantity of the manure. Ultimately, so the animals they are going to be affected, and there is a reduction in the milk yield or any other product. This climate change is one thing which has to be addressed for improving the proper production of the animal. And another important aspect is the economic implications of the fodder deficit. So here, the increasing livestock population is creating the demand for the increased production of the fodders here. So on the other side, the fodder production is not enough to meet the demand. So the surging demand of the fodder and its dipping supply, the demand supply they are not matching here. So it is creating imbalance, leading to the demand supply gap in the country, which is ultimately leading to increase in the fodder prices. That means, so the supply is not adequate, it is not meeting the demand of the requirement. So automatically the price for the fodder is also been increased, which is leading to the economical implications, wherein the small and the marginal farmers they are going to be affected most here. So these are some of the hindering factors which are creating deficit in the green fodder or the dry fodder to the livestock. And now this is important aspect which has to be addressed, and it is the need of the hour also. So the scope of entrepreneurship in the fodder sector. So we have got the entrepreneurship in various enterprises. That means in the livestock enterprise is there, automobile is there, computer science. Likewise, we have got in the different enterprises or the industries, the entrepreneurship is been there. But there is also scope for the entrepreneurship in the fodder sector. So if you see here, India has got almost 550 million livestock population, and if you take around 50% per animal per day, so it is almost working out nearly around 2500 crore per day for spent on the feed and the fodder alone. So such a huge scope is there for entrepreneurship development in the fodder sector. So an analysis has been made in the livestock population scenario from 12 to 19 20th livestock census. So there is an increase in the number of stall-fed female bovine livestock. That means as the grazing lands are being depleted, the pasture lands are not available. Stall feeding is one important aspect where we have to rely. So there is an increase in the number of stall-fed female bovine animals, and also there is an increase in the number of small ruminants, that is the goats and the sheep. So taking these two aspects, the entrepreneurship in the fodder sector can be advocated to the farmers. And the Indian animal feed market, so it has reached a value of almost 1000 billion in 2020, and it is going to be increased by 12.5% during 2021 to 26. Such a huge scope is there for the entrepreneurship development in the fodder sector here. So, what are the different areas wherein the entrepreneurship can be developed? So, we have got different areas where this can be proposed. So, one thing is green fodder production. The fodder market size is almost 30,000 crores annually. So, if you could able to provide or make available the different varietals of the green fodder and the different package of the practices, so which could able to improve the green fodder productivity and their production. So this can be one area where the rural youth can make entrepreneurship development in green fodder production, which is very profitable. So even as I have told you, uh, the different states of our country, they are also advocating the different schemes, the green fodder production at the farmers level by providing subsidies. So they are going to give 75 to 100% subsidy for the seed cost as well as the all the cultivation costs also. And the another thing is the fodder bank or the warehousing. So this has got a greater importance, especially during the times of droughts or the famines or any natural calamities. So if you could able to have a fodder bank, so where the processed, conserved, or the enriched products are the stored, they can be supplied or marketed. So likewise, how we are storing in our warehouses, like our grains and the vegetables, how we are storing, even if you could able to store certain conserved fodders or the enriched fodders, so they can be used during the times of the requirement. This is one area where the entrepreneurship can be developed. And the fodder seed, this has also got almost a good market nowadays. So if you see the quality seed availability, so there is a deficit of 20 to 25% from the cultivated forages, and 5 to 10% deficit is there from the range fodder crops, that is organized chain. And the remaining entire seed availability is from the unorganized sector. That means the quality or the labeled seed is not available. And if you see the market value of the forage seed market of our country, it is about 2000 crore, and it is also growing at a pace of 9% CAGR, compound annual growth rate is there. So a lot of opportunities are there in the production of the fodder seed with proper certification, quality control, storage, and by creating the networking across the country. So by creating certain e-platforms, this fodder seed production can be taken a good entrepreneurship model there. And value addition to the fodder seed. So this is also one area where if you see certain fodder seed for the range grasses, legumes, they suffer from the poor germination, and the seeds will also be fluffy and the empty in their content. So if you could able to develop certain technology like the seed coating technologies or the seed pellets, so this can be used to address the problem of the poor germination. That means the value addition creating for the fodder seed. So this is one area we can think of. And post harvest technologies, fodder conservation and the marketing. So this is one area where there is a huge scope. As we have already discussed a few of these topics, one is silage. So during the last 10 to 15 years, if you see the livestock market or the feed and the fodder market across our country, so many MNCs, they have come into the market for the production of the silage, for commercial feed preparations, and even densified feed blocks, bypass protein feed. And another important point which I want to highlight here is preparation of certain specialty feeds or the designer feeds. And we all aware that we have got the designer foods nowadays in the market, designer foods. So that is the designer milk is there, designer egg is there, designer meat is there. So that means the products from the livestock, they have been designed to have a particular nutrient in them. So for example, if you see N3 or the omega 3 enriched eggs were there, and we have got different colored eggs, double yolked eggs. So likewise here, as we are going to have a for them, that means the feed what we are going is going to reflect the product from the animal also. So here these are all the different areas where the young entrepreneurs, they can make their way to develop the entrepreneurship. So one is area specific mineral mixture also. So we can also understand the soil, plant, animal, human relationship. So whatever the content present in the soil will is going to reflect in the plants, in turn into the animals, and carry to the human beings there. So that means, so the content in the soil is going to reflect in the all the other aspects. So the area specific mineral mixture is one important area where it can be taken up by the entrepreneurs. And the development of these grasslands and the pasture lands are the wastelands. So this has to be taken up with the in association with the government or the local bodies. So that here identifying the wastelands are the areas which are not fit for the crop production, and they can be converted into either silvi pastures or developing into a fodder development areas, like uh, like this joint forest management, where we can increase the forage production. And another one is the export oriented quality fodder and the fodder product. So here also there is a huge demand, especially in the Gulf or the Middle East countries. So where there is demand for the quality fodder, and this is the area where we can target the international market. So we can build up certain value chains, and certain farmer producer companies, they can take up this one, and so that the export oriented quality fodder can also be taken up as an area of the entrepreneurship in the fodder production. And the non-conventional fodders. So we all know that there is an intense competition for the fodders, the area for the cultivation of the fodders between the human and the livestock. So better to target certain non-conventional fodders. The conventional fodders are being diverted for the human use majorly. So if you could able to concentrate on the non-conventional fodders are the different areas like the azolla, hydroponics, moringa production. So like silage from the horticulture waste, the fruit waste also. If you could able to concentrate, the different wide list of areas are there, wherein the non-conventional material, or we can make use of certain agro-industrial byproducts which are not coming into the human food chain as such directly. So these things can be addressed. These things can be taken up as an area of creating certain entrepreneurship. So already we have seen this azolla and the hydroponic units. If you could able to take up this area, they can be a source of income to the entrepreneurs or the farmers. Mechanized fodder cultivation. So, having the uh, improved genotypes and having a better package practices. So that means mechanization should be there. If you are following the old traditional practices, we could not make up the demand for the fodder. So because of this one, there is a huge demand for the machineries in order to advocate this mechanized fodder cultivation. Like, so harvesters are there, green grass seed collectors are there, so pellet making machines, feed pellets, complete feed block making machines, baling machines. So all these things, they have come into the picture, where the huge market is there across the globe. And another important aspect is keeping these custom hiring centers. So this is also where we can keep the machines made available on a rental basis to the stakeholders. So this is one area where I personally have got involved when I'm working in the KVK, Krushi Vigyan Kendra. So we all know that nowadays we are taking stop eating the rice and the means mostly we are concentrating on the millets. So the machines for harvesting and machines for processing these millets are not widely available. So last 3 to 4 years back, so here if you could able to have a custom hiring center having machines for this harvesting and the processing of these millets, so they could also be a source of income. They could also be a source of income. And finally, the we all know this is the era of the AI, era of AI, and everything is E. We are going to add E technology, e-commerce, e-platforms. Okay, so knowledge sharing, if you could able to do uh, uh, the market knowledge, the e-markets for the better prices to the farmers, so that the decision making by the farmer and their purchase capacity can be improved. For this, we have got a numerous e-platforms available across the country. So the knowledge sharing at the village level by trained personnel and their connectivity through e-services or mobile platform. So this is the need of the hour. Nowadays, the entire thing, the information is there in our hand in the form of a mobile. So if you could able to develop certain e-platforms and knowledge sharing stations, so they'll be very much useful to the farmers there. So we have got different platforms. One such example here is eGopala, a platform for the dairy entrepreneurs by National Dairy Development Board, NDDB. So they have developed. So if you see till now the different areas where the entrepreneurship can be developed. So how this scenario can be seen or can be addressed here. So India is a home of the young aspiring minds, and they are going to have a significantly contributing source from the fodder production for their economical development and the employment generation. So if you see, India ranks third in the technology-driven startups after US and the UK. So that means the startups which have been taken up by the young entrepreneurs in our country, they are in very peak level nowadays, peak level during these days. So almost 450 plus agri startups were there in India, which have got around 25 of them have got the global importance, and 50 of them, the agri startups, they are mostly related to the agri-tech startups. That means agri-lead only are being been taken up. So if you want to make this entrepreneurship more viable and more fruitful, so the different agencies have to make their role in a proper way. So if you see the different agencies where they have got role, they are the ICR institutes, state agriculture institutes, and NAR system, National Agriculture Research System. So private partners, so cooperatives, and like NDDB, National Seed Corporation, IFCO, and many other things, and the government departments like Department of Agriculture Cooperation and Family Welfare, Department of Animal Husbandry, Dairying. All these things, if you could able to come up in a single area, the entrepreneurship in the development of the fodder, in the fodder production, it can be made more successful. And finally, it can be concluded that the fodder production is one area where it is playing a very important role in meeting the demand for production of the livestock products, whether it may be milk or meat or the egg, whatever it may be. Here, more thrust on the research of the fodder sector should be given. So the concentration towards the cash crops or the food crops should also be diverted towards the fodder development. And the innovative practices are required to manage the fodder shortfall in the country. So this is one area. And the new genotypes and the better agronomic practices, they are obligatory. And the policies should be formulated for encouraging fodder cultivation so that the area under fodder cultivation is increased. So this has to be taken up from the as a government initiative. And farmers should be made aware that there is a better economic return from the fodder cultivation. So that too, we are going to keep a low cost, and we are going to get a good returns. That is, the benefit cost ratio is also very high if you could able to take this fodder cultivation as a entrepreneurship. And if we are going to develop or improve the fodder production in terms of quality and the quantity, it is going to have a good impact on the health of the livestock, especially the milch animals. So the quality milk and the enough quantity of the milk both will be available for the humans, so that the better human health can be maintained there. And if you are going to make this fodder production a viable enterprise, so the dairy industry is going to gear up, and it is going to be a great asset in countering the malnutrition in the growing children and even upliftment of the society. And finally, if you see the recommendations regarding this fodder production, so animal feed and the fodder, this is needed for the nationwide ruminants living in almost around 700 districts of our country, more than 6,600 blocks, and more than 2.5 lakh gram panchayats, more than 6.6 lakh villages, around 10,000, more than 10 crore households. So all these are dependent on this feed and the fodder. And above all, we need to feed the stray animals which are sheltered in registered and the unregistered goshalas. So if we want to make the fodder availability as per the requirement for the huge livestock of our country, so we need to have a comprehensive fodder mission which involves various stakeholders, and this is the need of the hour. This has to be taken up at the national level, and there is a need for national grazing policy and common proprietary resource management. And another recommendation is a grassland rejuvenation plan should be developed. So jointly by the government, farmer organizations, and the cooperatives and the local communities, creation of the fodder banks at the block level, and a national fodder seed grid should be developed, and the seed producers club or the seed village hub, so these can be formed. So all these things can be tuned in line with the milk cooperative societies what we have. So this is what we are advocating to the farmers when we are going to the villages, like how we have the milk cooperative societies, we also need to have the feed and the fodder cooperative societies also at the village level, seed production hubs at the village or the block level should be advocated. And these are some of the areas wherein we should make up, like having the frontline demonstrations for fodder crop technologies, giving incentives to the entrepreneurs which are involved in the fodder production, so value chain in the feed sector. And biofortification, this is one area which is being taken up by the ICR and even the other institutes nowadays. Biofortified varieties are being advocated. So we should have interface meetings for the different stakeholders, digital platforms creation, so collaboration for promoting the fodder varieties, better utilization of the crop residues, and we should have a reliable statistics. This is one area where we should be very clear. The statistics should be very reliable so that the measures can be taken up. And finally, we should also have certain quality control standards and the referral testing laboratories to evaluate the nutrient content of the feeds and the fodders. So this is one feed and the fodder development program that can be created. So one is forage production from the forest land, from the non-forest wasteland, and then seed production should be highlighted. So the mechanized systems have to be taken up. Certain conservation techniques have to be taken up, and so if you could able to integrate all these things, so the livestock enterprises will be a more viable one. So this is one uh, means one coordinating unit advocated by the IGFRI for having a better fodder seed, where so the collaboration between the different institutes like ICR, state agriculture universities, and the forecasting systems. So between the agriculture, rural development, so forests, and even the defense during the natural calamities, if you could able to integrate all these departments, the central and the statewide departments, so we could have a proper quality seed production by creating this breeder seed and the production of the quality seed to the farmers. So thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for such an informative session. So participants are requested to please post your questions, your queries in the chat box. Thank you, sir. So, sir, there is one query. Is it possible to use barren land to grow fooders and prevent soil erosion? And for this, by using this way, you can increase fodder cultivation. Is it possible?
Yeah,
Or
yeah.
what is
So
your opinion?
yeah. So as I've told you, this wastelands and the barren lands, they can be converted to the production of the fodders by adopting certain techniques like the silvipasture or the hortipasture. Likewise, it is one important area where we can increase the fodder cultivation, no doubt, and even it can also prevent the soil erosion.
Any other query?
Nice presentation, sir.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, sir.
So I've taken some 10 to 15 minutes more because this is the area where we have been working since last years regarding the fodder management only. So I would like to highlight this entrepreneurship majorly because some young entrepreneurs may take up that one. That was the main initiative here.
Yes,
Thank you.
this one is highly important.
Yeah,
Uh,
thank you for making me a part of this nice international level workshop come training. Thank you, one and all. Have a good
Thank
day.
you, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir. So moving forward to introduce our second speaker, Dr. Hajim Sheila Devi. So Dr. Hajim Sheila Devi is an associate professor in the Department of Entomology, School of Agriculture Science, Nagaland University, and she has been serving the institution since 7th March 2016. She earned her PhD in entomology from College of Agriculture, Punjab Agriculture University, Ludhiana in 2014. She completed her MSc in entomology from the College of Agriculture, OUAT Bhubaneswar in 2012 and securing a gold medal and obtained her BSc in agriculture from Assam Agriculture University, Jorhat in 2008. With over a decade of experience in teaching, research and extension, her specialization lies in economic entomology. She has successfully guided 13 master's students in entomology and one PhD scholar. Dr. Devi has published more than 40 research articles in reputed national and international journals. Now, I would like to invite Dr. Sheila Devi to kindly deliver her keynote lecture for practical session 2.
Madam, is it audible?
Yes, ma'am, you are audible.
Okay. So, madam, are you going to share the slide?
Ma'am, you can share your slide. If you are finding several difficulties, then we can also share your slide.
Hello, madam. Is it visible?
Yes, ma'am. Now it's visible to us.
Okay. A very
Yes,
good
ma'am.
evening.
Ma'am, sorry for interruption. Please, on Zoom mode, kindly you are requested to please share on Zoom mode or on slide mode. Slide.
Slide.
Yes, ma'am.
How is it, madam?
Ma'am, it's not showing. You can stop sharing and then share with us. If you're finding several difficulty, then we can also share your slide.
Madam, you please share it from your side.
Okay, ma'am. No issue. We are sharing from our side, ma'am. One minute, please. Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, you can say next. So, Sarel, turn the next slide.
Okay,
You
okay,
can
okay.
start now.
Okay, thank you so much. A very good evening to everyone. First of all, thank you for giving me this opportunity. And it's my pleasure to speak on the topic biopesticide and pollinator conservation for sustainable livestock and ecosystem health. So I'm Dr. Hizam Shila Devi, working as associate professor in the Department of Entomology, Nagaland University. I'm not going to take much time. So let me begin with a simple thought. If pollinators disappeared, many crops fail. If crop fail, livestock suffers, and eventually human health is affected. So today I'll show how pest management and pollinator conservation are not separate topics. They are deeply interconnected parts of one system. Madam, next slide, please. Modern agriculture is facing a dual challenge. First is feeding a growing population, and another is protecting our environment. But in trying to increase production, we relied heavily on chemical pesticide. Let me give a practical example. In many vegetable growing areas, farmers spray pesticide 8 to 10 times per season. Initially, pests are controlled, but after a few years, the same pesticide stop working due to the development of the resistance. So the farmer increased doses, then it leads to the high residue in the environment. And beneficial insects also disappeared, and due to which secondary pest outbreak occurs. Now look at the consequences. Pollinators decline, which lead to the poor fruit set in crops like cucurbits. Then soil microbes die, which reduce to the soil fertility. And residues enter milk, meat, affecting livestock and human health. For example, pesticide contaminated fodder can lead to the residue in milk. So the real question is, can we control pests without destroying the ecosystem? That is where biopesticides became a sustainable solution. Next slide, please. So biopesticide, how it is differ from the pesticide? We all know that the pesticide is any substance that is used to control pests. But biopesticide is also a pesticide, but derived from the natural resources. So biopesticides are nature-based pest control agent. Think of it this way. Instead of killing everything in the field, we use nature to control the problem. They come from microorganisms like bacteria, fungi, viruses, plants, and nature biochemical signals. The key features are they are target specific, like a sniper, use of the sniper, not a bomb. And they are biodegradable. They don't persist in environment for a longer period. And they are eco-friendly. That means they are safe to the non-target organism like the beneficial insects, like pollinators. So if we use a chemical pesticides, it may kill pests, bees, predators. But a biopesticides like BT target only the caterpillar. So we are shifting from the broad spectrum killing to the precision pest management. Next slide, please. Okay, then microbial pesticide. This is one type of the biopesticides. There are three types. First is the microbial pesticide. Second is the botanical. Third is the plant protectant chemical. So the microbial. Now let's look at the microbial biopesticide first. So the first example is the BT, Bacillus thuringiensis. This is one of the most successful example. It produces crytoxin. When larvae eat the treated leaves, the toxin damages their gut. Then the insect stops feeding and dies. They are widely used against the cabbage caterpillar and cotton bollworm. And another is the fungus, Vivaria vacciana. This fungus act like a parasite. Their spores attach to the insect body, they germinate and penetrate inside the body of the insect and killing the insect. They are used against the many sucking insects like whitefly, aphids, which are polyphagous that feed on many crops. And the another fungus, we have the very important, that is Metarhizium indocephali, that works well in the soil. That means the insect, the pest will survive in the soil like termites, root grubs, and they use in tea garden and plantation. So instead of spraying poison, we are introducing the natural enemies of the pest. Next, please. These are the entomopathogenic fungi. So what is entomopathogens? Means the pathogens are disease-causing organism. So the pathogen disease-causing organism, they live in the insect. Entomo means in insect. So these are the bacteria. We have fungi, virus, protozoa, nematodes. Then next slide, please. This is a mode of action of BT because it is very common. Now we have BT cotton, BT brinjal. So how they are working means when the BT, when the larva feed the BT treated leaf, then the toxin activated in the gut because the alkaline is alkaline, so it is activated only in the gut to safer to the livestock and human being. So activated this toxin, they bind to the gut wall. When they bind, they make a hole, the pores. Due to this, the bacteria mix up with the homocoid, that is with the blood. Due to this, poisoning of the blood occurs, that is septicemia, and the insect die. Next, please. This is the entomopathogenic virus that we have that we found from the market, like IgNPV, SLNPV. These are target specific. That is when we say the IgNPV, it is specific for the Helicoverpa armigera. When we say SLNPV, they are the Spidoptera littera. This is a very major insect pest of many crops. And these the mode of action of virus, when we say the larva, when they ingest the occluded virus, the protein capsule are dissolved and releasing the virions, and the virions affect the larva through the midgut cells, and they keep on replicating inside the host, and due to this the death of the larva occurs. And the symptom, the most common produced by the virus in the insect is the infected insect they climb to the top of the tree, as we have in the picture also. They will climb to the top of the tree and hang from the upper leaves or stems. Hence, we have given the common name tree top disease. Next, please. This is the entomopathogenic fungi. For this virus, the mode of action, they produce the spores. So the spores are attached to the cuticle, the skin of the insect. Then the germination of the spores occur, and they penetrate inside the cuticle and they grow in the blood in the hammock wall. Due to this, the death of the insect occurs. These are the products that we found of the fungus in the market. Next, please. Next is botanical biopesticides. From the name itself, I think we all have idea what are botanical insecticides. These are the naturally occurring chemical extracted from the seed, flower, leaves, stems, and roots. And we have nicotine from the tobacco leaves, which are act as a contact and fumigation action. We have rotinant from the roots of delis plant, and the pyrethrum we got from the chrysanthemum flowers. This which act as stomach poison in many insects. Next, please. So these are the plants that we get nicotine from the tobacco, pyrethrin from the chrysanthemum, but this cypermethrin is a synthetic pyrethroid that derived from the pyrethrum. This is a synthetic. And the neem is the most common for the botanical. And next, please. Next is biochemical biopesticides. So this is the most interesting category. Here we don't kill pests, we manipulate their behavior. For example, pheromone traps. The female insect, they release pheromone, and we also mimic it using synthetic lure. The males get attracted and their mating is disrupted. So due to this, the population is declined naturally. And the growth regulator, the insects cannot, due to the growth regulator, the insects cannot become adult. They will not mature. So this is slightly controlling the population without the violence. Very eco-friendly. Next, please. Next slide, please. These are the images of the pollinators. We have butterfly, beetles, flies, honeybee, wasps. But we all know that the most important is the main pollinator is the honeybee. And we have a report that about 40% of the production is increased in the mustard by the honeybee. And pollinators are the backbone of the agriculture. About 75% of the crops depend on the pollination. So, as I mentioned, in mustard, pea pollination increases yield. In apple, fruit size, quality depend on the pollinators. In many vegetables like cucumber, pumpkin, bottle gourd, they need bees for the fruit setting. Without pollinators, even if you control the pace, production will decline. Next, please. Then the pollinators are declining globally. Why? Because of the many factors like habitat loss, climate change, diseases, pesticide. Let me highlight about the pesticides. Neonicotinoids are widely used systemic insecticide. We consider it as a safer insecticide, but they enter nectar and pollen, affecting the bee even at low doses. So their effect is that the honeybees, they cannot find their way back, navigation loss, memory get affected, reduced reproduction. So a bee exposed to pesticide may leave the hive and never return. So this lead to the colony collapse. This is not just an environment issue, it is an agricultural crisis. Next, please. How biopesticides support pollinator conservation? They protect pollinators in several ways because the biopesticides are target specific. So BT kills caterpillar but not the bees. And low residue. They degrade very fast. So bees are not exposed for long period and no bioaccumulation. They don't build up in nectar or the pollen. Another is application timing. Evening spraying avoid the bee activity. So we can manage the pest without harming the pollinator. This is the key advantage. Next, please. So biodiversity conservation through biopesticides. Now let us discuss how the biopesticide contribute to the biodiversity conservation, which is very important aspect of the sustainable agriculture. First, biopesticides help in protecting beneficial arthropods. In any agricultural field, not all the insects are harmful. Many insects actually help farmer by naturally controlling pests. For example, predator like ladybird beetle feeds on aphid, which are major crop pests. Similarly, parasitoid lay their eggs inside harmful insects and help reduce their population. Even spider play an important role by trapping and feeding on the various insect. Now, when we use a broad spectrum chemical pesticide, they do not differentiate between the harmful and beneficial insect. They kill both. So this disrupts the natural balance of the ecosystem. But biopesticides are naturally target specific, so they allow these beneficial arthropods to survive and continue their natural pest control activities. And next is let us look at the soil microbiota. Soil is not just a inert medium. It is a living system full of microorganisms like bacteria and fungi that are essential for the nutrient cycling. These microorganisms, what they do, they decompose organic matter, fix nitrogen, improve soil fertility. However, excessive use of the chemical pesticide can disrupt this microbial diversity. This affect soil health and reduce long-term productivity. And biopesticides, being natural and biodegradable, have minimal impact on this microorganism and help maintain a healthy soil ecosystem. And the last one, the third point is the aquatic ecosystem. When pesticides are sprayed in the field, they can be easily washed away by the rainwater into nearby ponds, river, streams. This is called runoff. So chemical pesticide runoff can harm fish, amphibian like frogs, aquatic insect, and other invertebrate. For example, a pesticide contamination in water bodies can reduce fish population or affect their reproduction. And biopesticides, on the other hand, are less persistent and less toxic. So they reduce this kind of environmental contamination. Next, please. Next slide, please. Now, biopesticide contribution to One Health. One Health connects human health, animal health, and environmental health. This is very important for veterinary and livestock perspective. Now, let's understand why reducing pesticides use, especially by adopting biopesticides, it is very important for food, animal, and environment. First, reducing pesticide residue in food. When we spray chemical pesticide on the crops, a portion of this chemical remain on the surface or even inside the produce. So when we consume vegetables or any fruits, we may also be consuming small amount of this chemical. Over time, this can affect the human health. For example, if a farmer spray strong insecticide on cabbage, say just before harvest, residue may still be present when it reaches the market. But if we use something like neem-based biopesticides, they degrade quickly and leave very minimal residue. So food becomes much safer for consumption. And next is preventing contamination of the milk and meat. We must understand the livestock are part of the same food chain. So if animal eat fodder or drink water contaminated with pesticide, these chemicals can accumulate in their body. Eventually, they can be found in milk, meat, and eggs. For instance, if the cows graze in the field recently treated with a pesticide, The residue can pass into the milk that we drink. So by reducing chemical pesticide use, we ensure cleaner and safer animal products. The third point is protecting livestock from the toxic exposure. Many pesticides are not only harmful to the insect but also toxic to the animals. Livestock may ingest this chemical or get exposed during the spraying. This can lead to the health problem like reduced growth, reproductive tissue, or even death in severe cases. For example, poultry exposed to contaminated feed may so reduce egg production. So, if we use safer pest control method, then these risks are greatly minimized. Now, let's just talk about the preserving ecosystem services like the pollination. In agriculture, we depend heavily on the beneficial organism such as bees and butterflies for the pollination. These organisms help in fruit and seed formation. However, excessive use of the chemical pesticides can kill these harmful insects. For example, spraying pesticides during flowering can kill bees visiting the flowers and ultimately reducing the crop yield. And biopesticides, on the other hand, are usually more selective and safer for these beneficial insects. And finally, supporting the sustainable agriculture. Sustainable agriculture means producing food in a way that does not harm the environment and can continue for future generation. And heavy pesticide use can damage soil health, pollute water, and lead to the pest resistance. So when we use the same pesticides repeatedly, pests may deliver resistance, making the chemical ineffective. But for by using the biopesticide or any integrated approaches help maintain ecological balance and ensure long-term productivity. Next, please. Next slide, please. So now we have so many advantages of the biopesticides. However, they are not perfect. So the first is slower action compared to the chemical pesticides. Unlike chemical pesticides that give immediate knockdown effect, biopesticides usually take more time to act. For example, when we use a microbial biopesticide like BT, the insect has to ingest it and then it affects the gut, leading to the death after some time. So the farmer may feel that it is not working because the effect is not immediate. So this is the problem. And the second is a shorter shelf life. Biopesticides are made from living organisms or natural compound, so they do not remain stable for a long period like the synthetic chemical. For instance, a chemical pesticides may remain effective for years, but a microbial formulation may lose its effectiveness within months if not properly stored. And the third is a need for proper storage. This is directly related to shelf life. Say the biopesticides often require control conditions such as the cool temperature, protection from the direct sunlight, proper humidity, and if these conditions are not maintained, the active organism may die. For example, if a farmer store a biopesticide in a hot set under the sun, its effectiveness may be lost before application. And the next is farmers' lack of awareness. Many farmers are familiar with the chemical pesticides because they have been used for a long time and give quite visible results. But biopesticides require proper knowledge of timing, correct method of application, and with this knowledge, the farmer may not get good result, may lose confidence in this product. So a fungal biopesticide work based in a humid condition, but in dry or very hot condition, its effectiveness may suffer. So result may vary from field to field, unlike chemical pesticides, which are more consistent. And another point is variable field efficacy. So the biopesticides are influenced by the environmental factors such as temperature, humidity, and sunlight. So as I mentioned, the fungal biopesticides they work best in the humid condition only. So in dry or very hot condition, is effectiveness may reduce. So hence, strong extension services, proper research validation, and supportive policies are very important. Extension services will help in educating farmer about the importance of biopesticides and research will ensure that products are effectiveness under local condition, and policy support will help in availability, quality control, and adoption. So, with the right support system, this limitation can be overcome, and biopesticides can play a major role in sustainable agriculture. Next slide, please. So, to conclude, I would like to say that biopesticides represent a shift from chemical dependent agriculture to ecological agriculture. They help in protecting pollinators, conserving biodiversity, ensuring food safety, and supporting livestock health. The future of agriculture lies in working with nature, not against it. Thank you.
Right. The- so, So there is one more important information that tomorrow will be holiday. As you know, tomorrow is Sunday, so we can meet online on Monday. So till then, participants can post their questions in the chat box. So if no query is there, then thank you so much, ma'am, for enlightening the audience and the participants.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you, everyone, for your patience.
I participants. Thank you to this technical of advances for viable livestock to your tomorrow, on Tuesday or Monday, for another editing session with our distinguished experts. Thank you once again, Jai Hind to all. Please join at 5 p.m. on Monday.